Hey, squatters, it's very, very, very hectic. Isn't it interesting to see Julius Malema fuming this way? This man continues to expose himself unnecessarily so. I think on this particular issue of General Mkhwanazi appearing in the Adhoc committee, Julius Malema is actually exposing himself and he's triggering certain things. He's showing us some red flags that maybe him and Cyril Ramaphosa, and collectively with the likes of Shadrach Sibia and Senzo Mkhunu, they are very, very much worried about those dockets. You know, General Mkhwanazi cannot appear at the ad hoc committee and also the Madlanga commission at the same time. I think Julius Malema is trying to confuse the whole process. And I will play this clip to you so that you can listen and have your own opinion. Maybe I'm just overreacting. Maybe I'm just being analyzing him in a very wrong way. Maybe he mean well, but he continues to say, we are seeking the truth. We want to know. And the files were stolen. The dockets were stolen by Shadrach. The dockets were not stolen. The dockets were taken from KZN to Pretoria, to Shadrach Sibia's office, and Senzo Mkhunu disbanded the political killings task team because he was a minister of police by then, and without even consulting the national police commissioner, Fani Masemola. So these chaps, they used their authority. They were authoritative when it comes to this issue and took that decision without consulting Ntate Fani Masemola, the National Police Commissioner, and also the person who's actually running that operation, who was General Mkhwanazi. They should have consulted them. So Senzo Mkhunu issued an instruction that the dockets must be taken from KZN to his friend in Pretoria, General Shadrach Sibia, who's suspended now. So it doesn't actually make sense because something that has been stolen, it's something that cannot be found. We knew that the dockets were taken from KZN to Shadrach Sibia's office and they were gathering dust there, and there were 5 warrants of arrest, by the way, rather. Sorry, in those files, those dockets. So I don't understand the frustration of Julius Malema, and maybe I might be wrong. And he continues with his confrontational style, and I know Julius Malema politically that when he makes a lot of noise, when he wants to be heard, just like a spoiled brat child who plays around controlling other kids with his toys. And when he can't get that role of controlling everything, he throws around the toys and don't want to play anymore. That is Julius Malema. He's very chaotic and he doesn't want things to go orderly. He continues to say he's seeking the truth. I'm asking myself, okay, let me read this tweet by Dr. Ndlozi. Anyway, I feel like he's trying to communicate to Julius Malema to say, hey, buddy, listen, I know that I've been there with you in the EFF, but no, this is not on. So, Ndlozi, on his tweet, he's saying, General Mkhwanazi briefed Parliament in March about all the issues that he later raised in his now well-publicized press conference, which is true. And he continued to say, Parliament, the very one that calls itself ad hoc committee, did nothing. Yes, nothing. That's Ndlozi. It's curious how Parliament is not investigating itself as to why it did nothing about such an explosive information regarding our criminal justice system. Exactly the same thing that I kept asking myself that General Mkhwanazi raised this issue in March, and he raised this issue to the very same parliamentary committee, and they did absolutely nothing. Nobody questioned them exactly. What have you done with this information? When it first came to your attention, they did absolutely nothing, including Julius Malema. Anyway, I can remember vividly so that General Mkhwanazi did raise these issues and they did absolutely nothing. And as he continues, now they take platform through to their hypocrisy is referring to Julius Malema, and act like they care. No, they don't care. We know this because they had since March to do something, they did nothing. Exactly. That is my concern. And then they, sorry, he continues to say they must not irritate us here with belated pompous grandiosity. They can wait. They must wait. They will wait. Exactly my view that the Adhoc committee should wait. In fact, let me say, Julius Malema must just take a, he must just take a break, and, Mantua should cook a nice dinner for him and let him relax and eat dinner at his house, and let the Madlanga commission deal with this. Julius Malema, you are acting like a police, you are acting like a investigation officer, you are acting like a judge, a prosecutor. You want to be everything in one space. Stop with that vacuum and let us focus on one entity to say, let us seek the truth. And along this video, he says even he can appear halfway here and halfway here. What is that? Let me play this clip. Squatters, I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching my content. Sharp.
There is some senior committee called a commission. We have been juniorized. You have turned this committee into a toothless body. It is going to be the most useless body. I'm not even sure if some of us can continue participating in such a committee that agrees on something and do something else. Mkhwanazi, subpoena does not mean Mkhwanazi is wrong. If you don't know English, it's none of my problems. It's none of my baby to feed Malta Bella. Mkhwanazi must be subpoenaed because what Mkhwanazi said is important and cannot be postponed for a day. It's very urgent. But all of a sudden, even if Mkhwanazi becomes the last, that's fine. We can look at other people. Why? Because you don't want the truth. And you create an impression that you want the truth. You don't want the truth. I am here to seek the truth. That's why I'm saying Mkhwanazi must be subpoenaed. Mkhwanazi must come. We have nothing to do with the commission. We can never use a material of the commission in our committee. Mkhwanazi must write an affidavit directed to our chairperson, and that becomes a document of our committee. Any other thing is a hearsay. We don't want that. We want that which has been said to us by Mkhwanazi and the rest of them. I don't know what you're doing with Deputy Minister Cyril. To show that you want to make this thing useless, you have put in deputy ministers with no powers. I don't know what they're going to tell you. I don't know what you want to get from those people. You are getting deputy ministers because you want to render this committee useless. That's what you're doing. And we don't agree with any of the proposals. We don't change any terms of reference. We want Mkhwanazi as number one. If you can't get him through lovey-dovey approach, subpoena him, we're not doing anything outside the terms of reference. And then how can a person who started the allegations be the last one to testify? What are you going to use? With due respect, Honorable Bredenbach, we cannot use what has been said on TV. We cannot use that. We can use what is in the affidavit, and that affidavit must have an oath. So who are you going to question based on what? What is before you? We need something before us. And the person who can give that is Mkhwanazi. He has to come. Even if it means stopping half the way to go and appear into the commission, finish, come back, that's fine. But he has to come to us. Without Mkhwanazi, we're toothless, we're useless, we don't know what we're talking about. Someone is alleging here. You go and ask someone else, or you did 1, 2, 3. Or go and ask the person who said, I did that, and give you a proof. They say Sibia has stolen or taken the dockets. That's one of the allegations. Of course, we know the dockets have been returned or whatever the case might be. We are going to go to Sibia and say to Sibia, where are the dockets? I never took any dockets. Don't know, what do you mean? He says, go to the person who says I stole the dockets to give you evidence that I took the dockets. It doesn't work like that. As an advocate, Honorable Bredenbach, you know that. It doesn't work like that. There has to be a person who makes the allegations. We have to test the allegation. We have to test the evidence of the allegations.